The most common issues we find with extended family pressures are, say, finance. One of them will be, the most common one will be that a couple is there trying to build a foundation. The foundation is still shaky. And this one is mostly a man problem. The woman knows that the children's school fees are not paid. The woman understands that the mortgage is coming due. The woman understands they are in debt. But the man needs to send money home to respond to some kind of pressure on his manhood.
Yes.
And sometimes it begins to look like the woman is a problem to his family, because as far as the man is concerned, he's projecting it as, I'm willing to do, but my wife, they won't say it in those words, but let me check with my wife, it's enough to vilify the woman if the thing doesn't end up getting done. So in the end, you find somebody who is trying to, a couple where the woman is struggling for the survival of the home. And the man is trying to project a certain persona to his family home. Why it's a major problem for me is that when I observe that, I say, every man boasts about the lessons he learned from his father. But we seem to forget one lesson we learned from our father, that he put his own family first. Your father put his own family first.
Right.
But now you are not putting your own family first. Your father had brothers who were your uncles.
Yeah.
They were not carrying every money in your house to go give your uncles. You are carrying every money you have, going into debt to go. Yeah, I understand that sometimes we need to meet some basic needs in the household. We need to make sure that my mom doesn't live under a roof. But there's always a balance with this, and taking your spouse along is the way we all help to contribute to the man's household and to the woman's household. In the end, when a spouse begins to lash out because their resources are getting drained, we're putting their children in competition with the extended family. The saner person in that household will try to act to protect the family. And when you ask her, or you ask him, it depends on who is doing who is responding in that way, you may find that it's aligned with a time when they cannot trust that RESP they are putting away for the children's education is not getting purified away to go and declare, oh, booze is on me. You go to a group and you're donating money and hearing, oh, thank your husband for us, so he built that bridge. But the tuition has not been paid for next academic year.
That is crazy.
So that's one major issue that crops up in the family. The second one is captured by 2 chapters of the book. One of them is the law. It's called the Brothers of the Dead. Once the man dies, everybody comes, oh, what happened to our brother? We need to go bring this. And then everybody is caring, telling you where to bring the body for burial, telling you how to organize the burial. And it's not just in cultural societies. In Western societies, in the United States, it's more prominent when you see fathers-in-law, mothers-in-law that are of means. They want to interfere with what the family wants to do with their dead. The laws try to protect that, but you still see that pressure, that interference. Another thing the book looks at is what the chapter we call love of the female child. Many people are out telling you, even though I want to have male children to survive me, they also want sometimes female children because they need to be there. Female children tend to be more supportive of their siblings in a non-threatening way, and their parents. But you would expect that this love is mutual.
Absolutely.
The scam of that is that when the female child has a need, the parent that birthed her will tell her to go to her husband to meet the need. The family she's married to will treat her as a girl in that household. And anywhere you look, for instance, if a man writes his will, the tendency is to give the more tangible things to the sons who would inherit through the father. The girls get your mother's bookshelves.
All her jewelry.
And not even all of it, because often the first son and the second son who are very strong, their wives will share the jewelry before you even show up. So in the end, even though the daughters bear the bigger brunt of taking care of their parents, when they want to think about legacy, they don't inherit much. There's the intention to set up the first son, to set up the sons is higher, is stronger than the intention to set up the daughters. But the hurry to go to the daughter's home and begin to tell her husband, you have to train your brother, so you have to support your parents, so you have to be sending us money, you have to be sending us food. So the female child is almost like a ticket. Sometimes they don't let her marry who she wants to marry because we want to get into that rich family so that she can become the conduit to what, I'm sorry to say, sometimes parents are lazier than we children are able to process. And the lazy father, who is also greedy, who is also entitled, you as a child are not, your brain is not processed enough, developed enough to process that. You just see that these are legitimate requests that are coming from my father, and you go and begin to put certain kinds of pressure on your husband. Once you marry this man, you have the first baby, your mother will have to come there, and they have to get settled. And bringing these people bringing parents and in-laws to come and support the young woman who just had a baby is good. And when they are going, you appreciate them. That's how family works well. But using it as an instrument of seeing what you can get out of them is part of the scam this book exposes. Where it works well, you see your father-in-law call you and say, son, you've been renting. What's your plan for mortgage? Because you need a house. My house was paid out so time. I need my vision for you and my daughter is that you'll be able to pay mortgage. I'm not saying they should donate a percentage of the down payment. I'm saying they should be putting the vision in your head to be a man like he is. But the common tendency is, what can we get? And what can we get? And when they are not getting, the tendency is to trigger their son or their daughter to come and carry a civil war in your house to get their objectives met. And I think
which of your siblings are you going to train? Right? Things like that. And then
sometimes you have to take them with you from the day you marry.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, before we started filming, you were telling us a story about a family, and I want our viewers to hear and also chime in.
A professor died, and heartbreaking thing. The whole community was broken. He left a wife and 2 children. The wife will now be paying a mortgage on a decent house with only 1 income. The children are in university, 2 daughters, and a son, actually 3 children. And then the community was so broken, we raised money to support this family. And some of his relatives, men, were beginning to say, we shouldn't give this money to the widow, because traditionally this money should be sent to his siblings in the village, his siblings in the village, the men in the village, so they can help to organize the funeral.
What?
Some people were even willing to entertain this until some of us came out and said, nope, this responsibility of what happens after the man is given an honorable burial will fall on his widow and his children. They are the people we need to invest. The people
triggered. Hold me, I'm triggered. It's because of Obi here, because by now. Oh my God. Wow.
In fact, I wrote a position paper to the whole community. I wasn't just saying it because it's my preference. I even grounded it in the law and natural justice. I said, if this man, every waking day of his life was spent making sure his wife and children are okay, our primary obligation is to do something to make sure his wife and children are okay. If we can't do that, then we are not bringing him the help we think we are bringing him. Because the family in the village, I'm sure that if you ask them where is his address, they don't know.
They don't.
But suddenly, they're his brother, and somehow the wife is now a stranger, and the children is like, what children? Afterthought.
Oh my God.
And you talked about this in this book.
Yes.
So
oh my goodness.
This late professor didn't leave any estate instructions on what to do after he passes, right?
Good question. I have it on good authority that he had a will.
Okay.
So that is not the problem.
That was what,
Yes.
This was the money
problem was
raised by the community.
The money community raised to help support the funeral expenses and to help the family transition off from that trauma. After all, the will would not have been read by the time the next mortgage rolls around.
Absolutely. So, because our lives keep going here.
You have to kind of soften that
exactly, the blow.
Yes,
that's right.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Oh my God. I can't believe this is happening in 2026 now.
Exactly. But if you tell this kind of story or lessons from this story in the book, they'll be like, it used to happen those days.
No, it's still happening.
No, we actually even had somebody write to us and let us know that this is actually happening to her right now.
We'll talk about that, yes.
But yeah, it's kind of the same thing where in-laws are still going ahead to find their way to bully wives who have been bereaved. It's actually maddening that with the exposure we have and the stories we hear and the laws that we have, these things like this still happen. So I'm glad that was addressed, and if you want to read more about it,
grab your copy. Available on Amazon and most of the bookstores.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I have a last word, I'm going to say failing to build a boundary on the excuse that I have it good is not natural. It's negligence of the things that matter. You don't leave your house unlocked and your car unlocked because it's a safe society.
Yeah, no.
Because it takes one incident for you to erode all the things that you suffered to preserve. My in-laws are not like that. Okay, I hear you until they are. Even if they are not. So what? The boundary doesn't keep anybody out. It just makes sure that those who will come through the gate will come at the rate you want. They will come correct. They will come when you want.
Right.
And you can exclude them when they no longer serve you.
I hear that.
And it's not something that, and I'm not saying do it for me. Do it for the things you care about.
Right.
Otherwise, the care is ephemeral. Yeah.
Do it for the things you care about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the care is ephemeral.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle P. This was beautiful.
Yes, it really was. Thank you.